Hey, finding the right fit is tough. Just look at this guy. Don't be that guy.
You think it's a game? You think it's a fucking game? Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Hey, yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me go all out. DMX. Y'all gon' make me act a fool. Hey, yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me lose my cool.
I tried so hard.
What y'all really want? What y'all really want?
It doesn't even matter.
Come on.
I tried so hard.
What y'all really want?
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter.
Come on. Lord, give me a sign. Dog, I meet bitches, the street bitches, slash, Cocoa Puff, sweet bitches, think you wanna eat bitches, but not me.
I tried so
I fuck with these hoes from a distance. The instant they start to catch feelings, I start to... What is it you want from a... I gave you, you gave me. I played you, you played me.
and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to
Yeah.
lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Up in here, Up in here, Up in here, Up in here, Up in here,
It doesn't even matter. And you reached as far as I can go. For all this, there's only one thing you should know. I know you're somewhere out there, somewhere far away. I want you back. I want.
Good morning, traders, and happy Hump Day! Woohoo! Hump Day, baby. I love it. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. It is Wednesday, March 30th, 9:02 in the morning on this beautiful Hump Day, baby. How are y'all doing? Good morning. How we feeling today? We all fired up, ready to rock and roll, ready to hit it hard, ready to have an awesome day in the markets. And like I said yesterday, and like I said on Monday as well, gonna end this week, the end of March, on a strong and profitable note, team. Because again, March Madness is almost over, but that doesn't mean we're done, because we got April money showers right around the corner, guys. So what's up, Trader King? Good morning, Jamie, TJ, JDOS, AJ Trends. What's up, Trendy Trader? Steve, Catherine, Kids King, Trader Girl, Beth, Jay Cohen, Angel, Chris, Jamie. Woo! We got everybody up inside of chat today. How we all doing once again? I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday morning and that you guys are fired up, ready to hit it hard today, ready to lock in some big time profits. And today, team, we do have a lot of stuff moving. We have a lot of great opportunity in the market, guys. So we're gonna, again, not waste any time. We're gonna dive right into it. We're gonna talk about what we have going on, where the opportunity is, where your focus should be for the day. Again, to get you guys prepared to lock in some big time consistent profits. So hit me with a big old good morning. And then ladies and gentlemen over on YouTube, hit me with a big old good morning as well. Who do we have over on YouTube this morning? We got Joey. Joey's over on YouTube. He's ready to rock and roll. Eric, what's up, buddy? Shane, good morning. Where are you guys tuning in from? I'm from beautiful Clearwater, not really Clearwater, Florida, is it? Yeah, it's kind of by Clearwater, Tampa, Clearwater, Lutz, same thing. Sunny, beautiful, 90 degrees, hot, humid, sticky, nasty Florida, but I love it, guys. What's up, Danny? What's up, Jack? Good morning. Winston, Chris, Nick, ladies and gentlemen inside the chat, team traders, what's up, guys? Good morning. Let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and dive into it. And again, talk about what we have going on for the day, where my focus is, where I see the best opportunity to be, and what I'm looking to do to make some big time profits today. Not big time losses like yesterday, like AMC, but some big time consistent profits. I'm going to run the rest of March, just rocking those bigger profits and see what the outcome is. I'm still going to think about the decision that I'm going to make for April. So you guys know, I gave you guys 3 options. Again, my team is my #1 priority. Your guys' success is my focus. I want to get hyped up about your profits and your success, not just mine. Again, what fires me up the most and what I love bragging about is not my profits, it's your guys' profits. It's your success. So again, I thought about it last night. I've been thinking about this for the past week or so. Am I going to do a small account? Am I going to scale up and become aggressive like I've been planning on for the month of April until the end of the year, just moving forward? Or am I going to continue to take the step back that I've taken, really focus on long opportunities, not really scalping the markets as aggressively so you guys can follow along, and maybe I add in a small options account challenge as well, because I know a lot of you guys would like to really learn how to trade options on a small account. So I'm thinking maybe a $500 options account, and we'll do that on the side to get some exposure to the options market and to still grow these small accounts that you guys may have as well. So again, I'm tossing up a couple ideas. I wanted to ask you guys last night what you thought, and you guys gave me a lot of great feedback. So thank you very much. I appreciate the feedback. About 90% of you said stick to doing what you're doing. So maybe I add in a small account options challenge, and we'll do both of them, right? And have some fun with it, grow a small account with options and still trade the way we've been trading for the past 6 months. Realistic size, you guys can follow along. We're not really scalping the market aggressively. We're sitting back looking for those A+ setups, those trades that can rip 50 cents to $1, right? With realistic size, not 10, 20,000 shares, but 500 to 1,000, right? Want to keep it realistic so you guys can follow along. And that's why I haven't really been shorting a lot either, because I know a lot of you guys don't really short stocks. So I would hate to sit here and just focus on one thing, and it takes away from you being able to follow along and actually learn to grow those accounts, to get to the point where you're shorting stocks, to get to the point where you're more aggressive on size. So again, I've been thinking about this. I'm going to put more thought into it for the rest of the week. But for now, we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in the next coming days before April starts, guys, because April, we're hitting it hard. Regardless what we do, we're hitting it hard. We're carrying this momentum from March into April. And like I said, it's April money showers. It's going to be raining with profits inside the chat, guys. But again, let's quit talking about the random stuff, the stuff that's irrelevant, the stuff that does not matter today to make those profits. Let's go ahead and dive into the stocks that have the best opportunity and the best potential for the day. So #1, DRCT, guys. All right, so what's going on with DRCT? It's currently up 90%, right? The stock is trading 13 million shares. On average, the stock trades less than 5 million. So we're trading a little over 2x the average volume. Now, Trade Ideas is actually showing the float at 2.5 million, but Yahoo Finance, which is normally the more credible source when looking at statistics like the float, the average volume, they're usually more correct than Trade Ideas or other sources. Yahoo Finance is actually saying that DRCT is 300,000 in float. So if that's true, this is a micro float stock. This thing could absolutely rip. Think about what IGMS did yesterday. It ripped. DRCT could rip just like that. It has the volume. It's a low float stock. We're up 96%. And we have good news. So shares are surging in Tuesday after our session, after the company reported financial results showing significant revenue growth and issued guidance well above estimates. So they said fourth quarter revenue increased 95% year over year from 6.3 million to $12.9 million. The company reported a quarterly net loss of 2.1 million. But again, the revenue increased 95% year over year. That's good news, but here's where I like this even better. So they expect their first quarter revenue to be between 11 million and 11.5 million versus the current estimate of 8.42. So even looking ahead, we're looking to see even more revenue versus the estimate, and they expect their full year of 2022 to be over the estimate as well. So we add all that together, we got some really good news on DRCT. Nice low float stock, trading good volume, currently up 88%, and this stock is ripping. It's ripping. We have that downtrend drawn up in pre-market, 330 support. We broke the downtrend, we squeezed, we ripped. We just broke that high of 450. We just hit a new high of 494. $5, team, is going to be a tough level of resistance on DRCT. What do we know about penny stocks? $1 is the strongest. $5, the second strongest. $10, the third strongest level of resistance for penny stocks. So what do we know about $5? It's going to be really tough to break above. But if we break above $5 and we stay above $5, this thing could keep on ripping. So how do we trade this? Where's targets? We don't have any data. We don't have any past chart history to look left on. All right, so where do we gauge targets? Every dollar, right? About every dollar. So 6, 7, 8, 875. We know that just that weird number, 875, is a level that's respected for penny stocks. And then if we break 875, we could see it up towards around 10. I'm not saying it's going to hit $10 today. I'm saying if this stock is the number one stock of the day, and if this stock is the one that rips and runs, and this is where 90% of the focus is, it could hit, right? It could hit $10, right? We don't know. But again, those are going to be some targets. Over 5, every dollar. 6, 7, 8, 875, and then $10. Current support right now is back down at 434. If we crack below 434, we're going to have support right off these pre-market highs, and that pre-market low right around 395. If we crack below 395, support's all the way back down at 331. So obviously, if we want to see the stock rip and run to 6 to 7 to $8, which it very well could, the press release is great, we don't want to really see it dropping back below, I would say 395 at the lowest. Ideally, I wouldn't want to see it dropping back below 434. And even better if we don't drop back below 450. So the lowest level that I would really expect to see this go to stay interested in DRCT would be that 395 level. But a nice break and hold above 5, I get interested, I get excited. We have a lot of great potential today to the upside on DRCT. Right now, the number one stock that we will be watching right out of the gate, followed by ADGI. Now, I like ADGI a lot, guys. ADGI doesn't look bad at all. So from a technical perspective, it looks pretty good. ADGI has very good volume. It's trading 5 times the average volume today in pre-market than it normally does. It's currently gapping up 50%. It's a medium float stock, right? It's 40 million in float, but here's the press release, and the press release is really good. This is the keyword. They met primary endpoints. So ADGI trials for COVID-19 treatments met primary endpoints. That's a great press release, but I like this as well. They also plan to engage with the US FDA and submit an emergency use authorization application in the second quarter of 2022. So we already met primary endpoints. We're ripping up off that news. They also plan to engage with the FDA to submit an emergency use authorization application. If their application is approved, you'll see that press release come in, and we could see ADGI rip again in Q2 once they submit that and if it's approved. So ADGI, we're definitely watching it today as they met primary endpoints, and then again, maybe in the next 3 months, if they do indeed submit the application, and if that application is approved, we can continue to see ADGI rip again in the future. So we're thinking ahead right now. A little bit of a different approach, different mindset, but it's really important to dissect these press releases and understand what's going on. So ADGI may be one of those stocks that continues to have, you know, a little bit of momentum. Remember MULN? MULN had a good press release, but they also had other things in the pipeline, and MULN kept holding momentum and it kept running for a couple of weeks. So it's something worth just being mindful of with ADGI, just in case we ever do see that press release drop. The application was approved. They get FDA emergency use authorization. We could see ADGI rip again in the near future. But right now today, meeting primary endpoints, great volume, low enough float stock. The stock could absolutely rip and run. Support right now on ADGI is all the way back down at 532. So the best of the best support on ADGI, 532. Top resistance right around that $7 level. Okay, if we ever break above that pre-market high in $7, we do have potential to see $8.41. Anything over 841, we know 875 is just that psychological level for penny stock. So it'd be 841 to 875 resistance on ADGI. Anything over that 875 level, we have potential to 10 and then 1075 here on ADGI. Right now at this point in time, number 2 that we will be watching right out of the gates. So number 1 was DRCT. Number 2 is ADGI. Number 3, maybe SNOA. Now again, we don't look the best in pre-market. The press release isn't really the best either. But what stands out to me with SNOA is number 1, the volume, right? We're trading really good volume today, number 1. There is a catalyst, there is a press release. Now the press release isn't as good as DRCT's. It's not as good as ADGI's, but again, there's a press release, there's a catalyst, it has volume, and it's a low float stock. What's something else you notice about SNOA on the daily chart that's appealing? Is there anything that you see on the daily chart with SNOA that's really, really appealing? And it kind of looks as if we could see some action today based on what we see on the daily chart. Who knows? What do we see right now on the daily chart that's really, really appealing? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah, VWAP and 9 EMA, not a VWAP and 9 EMA on the daily chart, right? We're looking at the daily, so we're using 1 EMA and 2 SMAs, right? So we have a 20-50 squeeze, right? And what are we seeing in pre-market? We're seeing it squeeze. So we have a daily technical formation, right? And we know daily technical formations are a form of a catalyst. We have a catalyst, there's news, we have great volume, it's a low float stock, it's gapping up right now 22%. So I like the daily chart on SNOA. I'm not crazy about the press release, but the daily chart is pretty darn appealing. And when we see these when we see these squeeze formations, these moving average squeeze formations on the daily chart, and they pop out of these moving average squeeze formations, every now and then we get some nice movements, right? We get some nice movement. SUNW was one of those really nice moving average squeeze formations that I remember trading back in the day, right? We had that moving average squeeze formation on SUNW, and there was another one right back in this point in time that we popped and we ripped and run and we held on up. Even this moving average squeeze formation was a lot better on SNUW. So again, we do see quite a few moving average squeeze formations. I think another one was ATER last year, right? We saw that really nice 20 EMA and that 50 SMA squeeze the stock and cross, and we got absolutely explosive and we ripped and ran. So we do have that really nice 20 EMA, 50 SMA moving average squeeze formation on SNOA, and we're actually seeing it pop out of that squeeze here in pre-market. So I do want to keep SNOA on watch just to see if this stock does continue to move higher today and maybe the rest of the week, right? We do have some potential to see 5 and 522. Support right now, I would bring your support down towards around these daily highs. I would say you have okay support right around 4. You're going to have some resistance right around 425. But anything over 425, we have potential to 472 and 506. We have news. It's a low flow stock. It's trading good volume, and we have a daily chart formation that could help continue to push this stock to the upside. So it's definitely not a super hot stock. It's definitely not a top stock that I want to be watching right out of the gate, but it's a stock that I want to have on my watch list and pay attention to it just in case it does indeed start to rip and run. NAOV is the next one we're going to talk about. So this morning, NAOV, they announced that their Pain Guard and UroGuard approved by Health Canada as a licensed medical device. So we do have NAOV with an okay press release. Now again, that press release isn't as hot as ADGI or DRCT, but there is a catalyst, there is a press release, and every now and then, all we need is that catalyst, and that could be the #1 stock of the day. Regardless of how hot the press release is, there's a catalyst, and we see some great action. We usually see some momentum. We could see some momentum, but again, the press release isn't the best on NAOV. But here's the thing, it's trading really good volume, right? It's trading 7 million shares. On average, this stock trades 300,000 shares, and it's a low float stock as well. It's 27 million in float. So just like SNOA, right? The press release isn't the best, right? But it has the volume. It's a low float stock. It's a stock that meets the criteria to be watch list worthy, but I'm not saying it's a top 3 to 5 stock to watch. I'm saying it should go on your watch list, maybe as a back burner, just to be mindful of it. Do some due diligence ahead of time. Get prepared, mark up your levels, and let's see if this is a stock that does steal some attention and steal some focus, and maybe it is a stock that performs well, and maybe there's some opportunity to lock in some profits. But right now, I would say that NAOV, and this is just my opinion, NAOV would be a back burner stock. SNOA would be a back burner stock, top of the back burner, but still on the back burner, not a top stock to watch right at 9:30. I would say ADGI, definitely watching the stock right at the open. DRCT, absolutely. #1 we're watching right at the open. And I do want to watch IGMS today as well. So there's a lot of news with IGMS, a lot of stuff going on. So yesterday they have earnings, right? And the earnings were good. Yesterday they announced a press release, and it was collaboration with SNY, Sanofi, to develop antibodies against cancer. So we have collaboration agreement news to develop antibodies against cancer. Now that right there stands out. That's a good press release, but it gets even better. They're receiving $150 million up front, but they will also get up to $1 billion in development and regulatory milestones. So it's on high watch for me. And there's more to it, right? There's even more to IGMS. Not only do we have that cancer-related news, collaboration agreement, receiving a large sum of money in the form of milestones to develop these antibodies against cancer, right? But the stock's an 8 million in float. It's a low float stock. As of March 15th, the short float percentage on IGMS was 53%. So that means 53% of the float was short as of March 15th. We just saw a gap up yesterday and it squeezed. That number's definitely changed. It's no longer 53%. Maybe it is, but I would definitely think that if there was 53% short as of the 15th, I would think yesterday's move would have squeezed a lot of those shorts out. Maybe, I don't know. But again, we don't have real-time data right now on IGMS. All we know that as of the 15th, half of the float was short. That means a little over 4 million shares were short on IGMS out of the 8 million available to be traded to the general public. Cancer-related news, collaboration agreement, receiving a large upfront payment, but also getting up to $1 billion in milestone payments. And then they dropped an offering of 8.6 million shares at $23 a share. Every now and then offerings really hurt the stock's price. But every now and then an offering does help a stock's price. Now again, when you offer more shares to the market, you're diluting the amount of shares that are out there, which again pulls down the EPS and pulls down the PE ratio, right? It makes the stock less appealing at certain times, right? It lowers what the company is actually worth from a per share standpoint when you dilute shares or you offer more shares to the market. But again, sometimes it's a negative thing, sometimes it's a positive thing. But look at all of the other positive things behind IGMS, right? Again, good earnings, right? Great news with Sanofi, right? Overall, 53% of the short was float. There's a lot of positives behind IGMS despite the public offering that they announced yesterday at $23 a share. So I definitely want to keep IGMS on high watch, right? Definitely want to keep it on high watch. I'm currently in this at $27.35. My cost basis is $27.35. I bought this in pre-market right before the break of the downtrend. So that little green arrow is my current cost basis on IGMS. And I'm looking to see if the stock can continue today and throughout the rest of the week. Now, if we can break over yesterday's highs on IGMS, look at that big daily gap fill, right? We have a big gap to be filled on the daily chart, right? So over yesterday's highs on IGMS, we have potential to 41.48. Over 41.48, we have room to 44.90, right around 45 bucks. Anything over that 44.90, we could see this up towards around 47.76, and then maybe even hitting that 200 SMA. Now, I'm sure you guys are thinking like, Jesus, Josh, you really think it can move that high? I never thought this stock was going to go from $20 to 35 bucks yesterday. I didn't think it was going to make that move within 1 hour, but it did. So who's to say that this stock cannot rip another $15 to $20 to the upside today? It definitely could, right? So we definitely want to keep the stock on high watch. There's a lot of focus around the stock. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of interest and a lot of attention from retail traders. And we are starting to see it grind on up here a little bit in pre-market. So I definitely want to keep IGMS on high watch today. If it doesn't do anything today, maybe we have some activity and some opportunity come tomorrow and Friday with IGMS. So I definitely want to keep this one on high watch, guys. CLVR, I'm like 50-50 with it. It's a back burner trade, guys. If it starts breaking back above $3, maybe there's some opportunity here. But again, it was a nice little mover yesterday. A lot of you guys were watching this one yesterday. Right now in pre-markets, we are gapping down just a little bit, but we could see some action today with CLVR. We'll keep it on watch above 240. If it ever breaks back above $3, I mean, we do have potential back up into the 380s to retest. Is that Friday's high? Yep, Friday's high. So we'll keep CLVR on watch, but again, it's definitely not a top stock that I want to be really focusing on right out of the gate. I want to be focusing on IGMS, DRCT, and ADGI, with SNOA as our number 1 back burner above 4, and NAOV our number 2 back burner above $1. All right. Now we do have some mid-candle breakouts possibly setting up today. We have DATS with a possible mid-candle breakout. Breaking above these pre-market highs, we have potential to 322. MRIN is another mid-candle breakout. Breaking above yesterday's close of 312, that's where some volume could start to move on in. We could see MRIN back up towards around 325 and then back up towards around 367. Right, we do have a nice little mid-candle breakout possible with MRIN, and we do have NEGG with a possible mid-candle breakout as well. So why did NEGG even rip on Monday? Well, AMC ripped on Monday. GameStop ripped on Monday. So again, that was a meme stock. We had KOSS moving, right? We had BlackBerry moving. We had NEGG moving. So again, I would expect to see NEGG possibly play on out if GameStop starts moving on up. If AMC starts moving on up again, maybe that'll help NEGG start moving on up, and we may be able to see that mid-candle breakout play on out, right? So we have NEGG on watch for a possible mid-candle breakout. We have MRIN on watch for a possible mid-candle breakout. And we have DATS on watch for the possible mid-candle breakout. So all 3 of those stocks will be on high watch to see if they do start setting up for those mid-candle breakout trades. But to start the day, guys, my goodness, I got a lot of hiccups lately. IGMS, definitely a top 3 to 5 stock. DRCT, top stock. ADGI, top stock. SNOA, number 1 on the back burner. NAOV, number 2 on the back burner. And CLVR, number 3 on the back burner. So we got 3 top stocks to watch out of the gate. We got 3 back burner stocks that have good potential today, and we have 3 possible mid-candle breakouts. So a total of 9 stocks to watch, but 3 stocks to watch right when the market opens, guys. All right, we'll be watching the SPY, see what happens today, be watching the Qs. We may see the Fed minutes released today. It's been exactly 2 weeks since the conclusion of the FOMC meeting on March 16th. So typically, at least 2 weeks after the conclusion of the FOMC meeting, the Fed minutes are released. It's going to give us more insight on how the Fed plans to handle inflation and their plans on the interest rate hikes as well, and then just the economy and shrinking the balance sheet. It's going to give us a lot more information that we really didn't hear during the FOMC meeting and the interview with Powell on the 16th of March. So be looking for those Fed minute details. They could be released today. It could be released next week. Again, usually it's 2 weeks after the FOMC meeting. So we'll have to keep that on watch and see how the market reacts to those details. Okay, so we'll be watching the SPY and the Q today. The P call, I was looking at the P call. You have slightly more calls than puts in the market, but it's nothing too aggressive to be super concerned about. And we will be watching AMC and GameStop as well, and some of those meme stocks off on the back burner as well. But to start our day, ladies and gentlemen, DRCT, number 1. Yes, baby, number 1. And then ADGI, number 2, guys. So let's have some fun. Let's make it happen today. Let's lock in some big time profits, ladies and gentlemen. And let's have a very nice hump day. You guys ready? We got 30 seconds to go, guys. 30 seconds until the market opens. Man, I tell you what, the Alani Nu, I stopped drinking Celsius. I got an Alani Nu today. These are really good, but I tell you what, it tastes like alcohol. I feel like I'm drinking alcohol right now. But they're good, guys. If you guys like energy drinks, try the Alani Nu. I know I got a lot of you guys on Celsius, but the Alani Nus are pretty good. I like them. I want to see a washout on DRCT. All right, so I'd like to see it dump on off here, come back down towards around 434 to 450 for a nice little washout long strategy. All right, so maybe back down around that high at 450, could come down as low as 434, but looking for a possible washout long on DRCT if we get rejected right here at 5. And ADGI was another one, guys. And ADGI has its level of support at 532. So 532 on ADGI. Now, ADGI met their primary endpoints. So ADGI's press release wasn't all that bad. So maybe we get that washout down to 532 for a dip buy on ADGI. Right off that 532 level of resistance, or I'm sorry, yeah, old resistance, new support, maybe right around 530 to 534. A little bit of this washout long, hitting that 530 for a nice little dip buy maybe there on ADGI. But right now, let's just wait for this thing to pull back a little bit. Right now, DRCT is breaking 5. We're not touching it right now. Could be a false breakout. How do we trade breakouts? We talked about this, Monday, right? You can trade the breakout as it's consolidating underneath resistance. It's a riskier way to do it, but a lot of traders will actually trade into this consolidation as it's consolidating right under resistance, right, for the break. Some traders buy the break right away, but what if it's a false breakout? They're taking an unnecessary loss. So how do I teach you guys to trade breakouts? Wait for the breakout to actually take place. Just wait for the breakout. Wait for the stock to pull back and retest the breakout area. Where did we just break out of? Right between $4.94 and $5 resistance, right? So we have $4.94 and $5 resistance. So wait for the stock to pull back and retest old resistance as new support. Then look to make your entry. But right now, why are you chasing the stock? You shouldn't be chasing the stock. But right now, it's the number one stock to watch. Absolutely. Wait for the retest. Exactly. If you're buying right now at 530, you're FOMOing into this trade. You are chasing this stock. You are gambling if you're buying it high a day. The stock just went from 470 to 545 without pulling back. If you were already in, congratulations. If you were not already in, you missed the trade like I did. Wait for the pullback. Wait for the retest. And again, do not forget about NEGG for the mid-candle breakout. I've been in this trade since pre-market, right? So I did buy NEGG in pre-market as it was one of the nicer mid-candle breakouts. My cost basis, 708. I was a buyer on IGMS in pre-market as well. Cost basis, 27.35. So I currently have 2 open positions. NEGG for the mid-candle breakout, right? I'm putting my stops below 650. IGMS, I'm currently in this for a continuation. Very small size. It was a starter position on IGMS because I may want to add to this down towards around 25.50. Now, if we crack below 25, I get out. But if we come down and hold that level of support, I will add to my position on IGMS, as I still do think we could see some activity today, maybe even tomorrow and Friday as well. Again, right now, the #1 stock is DRCT, followed by ADGI. REVB is halted. In pre-market, probably pending news. REVB is set to resume at 950. Do not look to go long on REVB, right? So REVB, they missed their primary endpoint. So this stock is probably going to dump on off, guys. Probably going to dump on off. You may be able to catch it for a dead cat bounce, a little bit of a dip buy, but just know they missed their primary endpoints. This goes live at 950. It's probably going to dump on off on REVB. Right now, we're watching DRCT at this point in time. No, the feed is not delayed. The feed is about 3 seconds. About 3 seconds on the feed as far as the delay goes. So right now, a little bit of a flag here on DRCT, right? So you have that nice pop on up, followed by this period of consolidation on DRCT, forming these higher lows and lower highs right off this 9 EMA. So right now, you do have a nice little bull flag on DRCT. But again, I'm not too crazy about bull flags because we haven't really seen a lot of them play out consistently. It's about 50-50. 50% of them do, 50% of them don't. So we're not seeing the market conditions really support consistent bull flags. So again, I don't know if I'm really too crazy about buying it right here. You would put your stops below 490 if you guys wanted to get long. You'd have to put stops below 490, guys. And your first target's 545. If you break 545, you can get to 6. But like I said, from what I've noticed with penny stocks is these bull flags are just so hit or miss. There doesn't seem to be a lot of solid consistency behind bull flags with penny stocks. So personally, I'm not going to get involved because typically you get that attempt, it flushes on out, it dumps on off, it's a big rug pull. So look at that. You see how it attempted the bull flag and then the rug pull. That's what we've been seeing a lot of in penny stocks with bull flags. That's why I wasn't willing to take that, because we've seen a lot of the attempts and a lot of those rug pulls, right? So right now, look at that. A false break out of the bull flag, and right now it's getting absolutely hit hard to the downside, down about 50 cents after it tried to break out of that bull flag. So this is why it's important to understand market conditions. We've been seeing this a lot. So if we've been seeing this a lot, what do you think is going to happen? Probably something like this. We can completely avoid these types of trades, just knowing market conditions. So right now, I'm looking to see if DRCT is going to fall all the way back down towards around that 434 to 450 level and possibly hold on up as support. Here goes DATS off the mid-candle breakout, guys. DATS has room to 322. Support right now, 268. We said breaking over pre-market highs, this is where you want to get involved. We broke over pre-market highs, we retested. If you guys are long, you have potential to 322. You do not want to see this dropping below 268 on DATS, right? So that's your support level, 268. You have room to 320. So VYNT had news ISIG is moving on up. Why is ISIG moving? So no news on ISIG. A little bit of a gap up and a pop. I mean, ISIG is a former, pretty much call that a supernova stock, right? I mean, this stock went from around $6 all the way to 35 in just about 4 days. I mean, it had a nice big green day, mid-candle breakout, boom. So again, there's no direct news with ISIG. But it is a former supernova stock. It's very, very low float. It's 900,000 in float on ISIG. And it's not like there's a lot of shares short or anything like that. So we'll keep ISIG on watch. You know, hopefully it's not just a pump and dump. Again, I don't want to get involved because, again, there's no credible reason for the stock to be moving on up, but we will keep it on watch. It's a former supernova stock. Again, it's a very, very, very low float stock, and right now it's trading about 1 million shares today, which is slightly above the average. We'll keep ISIG on watch. But again, I don't see any news or any reason as to why this stock is currently moving on up. Right now, no fresh trades for me, guys. I'm still sitting on the sidelines, kind of just chilling like a villain, right? I got that position on NEGG from pre-market. I have that position on IGMS from pre-market. Probably about break even between the two trades right now at this point in time. But as far as any fresh out of the gate trades in the last 11 minutes, I have nothing at this point in time. We are holding above that 494 level on DRCT. So, I mean, I don't like the failed breakout off the bull flag. I do not like the false attempt higher and then the rug pull. I'm still thinking we can move lower. If it proves me wrong and it starts ripping, let it prove me wrong, let it start ripping, but I'm not going to be the guinea pig. Last thing I'm going to do is jump in right here, be the guinea pig thinking it's going to rip and run. We just saw a very big rug pull on a lot of volume. So I think we could still see it maybe come down just a little bit lower on DRCT. So I'm going to sit back on DRCT for now. I'm definitely still sitting back on ADGI for now. I want to see what the stock does right around this 530 level. You do have DATS looking like a great mid-candle breakout, guys. Again, broke and held those pre-market highs right around that 275 level. That solidified an entry. You guys are currently up 20 cents a share right now, and you have another 25 cents to go until you hit resistance. MRIN, guys, could be the next mid-candle breakout, so keep MRIN on high watch. Again, MRIN breaking 312. This is where this thing could really start ripping and running. Actually, I call it 313. Breaking above 313, we have room to 325. Over 325, that's where things get really exciting. With MRIN, we could see it up towards around 360. I don't know. Is it ISIG? That's the short special? Is that the one that I was shorting the crap of every time it popped? No, I don't think it was ISIG. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. I can't remember. Was it ISIG, the one that Placid would always call out and the one that I would short the crap out of? I don't remember. It was? Okay. All right. It was. So again, oil is popping on up. So what's INDO doing? INDO. Oh my gosh, what's going on? TD Ameritrade's really struggling lately. INDO, it's popping on up. What's INPP doing? kind of popping on up. CEI, what's it doing? It's popping on up. Why are these oil-related stocks starting to pop on up? Well, because we have oil, right? We got oil starting to move on up here just a little bit today. So if oil continues to have a nice little rebound, a nice green day, yeah, absolutely. We could see some good action with some of those small cap oil stocks, INDO, CEI. Definitely keep those ones on watch. But I want to focus on the stocks that have news. I want to focus on ADGI, and I want to see if it sets up. I would hate to miss an opportunity on ADGI because there is some decent potential here. DRCT even has some okay potential. I still even like IGMS, guys. Right? So I know there's a lot of stocks moving, but just because the stock's moving doesn't make it a good buy. Right? Just because the stock is up doesn't mean you should trade it. Right? What's the reason it's moving? Right? What's the catalyst? What's the volume? What's the formation? What's the setup? Right? Always ask yourself, right? Why am I going to take this trade? Why? Why am I going to trade it? Right? Is it just moving up randomly? If so, you need to be aware of that. You got to be mindful about that. Like ISIG, it's pretty random. Why is it moving on up? Right? Where's the news? Where's the filing? Again, I would hate to jump in on this and it be one big pump and dump and it just dump on back down to 10 bucks. But if it proves itself by me not being the guinea pig and it proves itself and it's a consistent stock, then let's trade it. But again, we're only about 14 minutes into the day, right? I still want to make sure I'm not being the guinea pig before I possibly pull the trigger on ISIG, and plus it needs to set up in the first place. So for now, still watching ADGI here, and I'm looking to see how much lower DRCT could go. Yeah, DATS, if you're not already in this, you shouldn't be buying it right now, right? If you were already in this at 275, there was your entry. Your entry was a break over pre-market highs. It broke, it retested, boop. You guys are already up. You have some breathing room. Right now, I wouldn't be chasing the stock up at high a day right now at this point in time. So SNOA is not looking great at all. We can go ahead and take SNOA off that watch list, guys. Let's go ahead and clean it up. Just like NAOV, I mean, I don't know. Not too crazy about what it's been doing the first, 15 minutes. I still think there's better opportunity. So I'm going to take that off watch. Right now we're watching ISIG to make sure it's going to hold on up. Make sure it's not just going to dump on off. Watching ADGI here above this 530 level to see if we can find some support and maybe put in a little bit of a reversal. And then I'm still looking to see how much lower DRCT could go, right? Just looking to see how much lower it could go. It's a really, really low float stock. It has really good news, great volume. Again, I definitely want to keep DRCT on watch to see if we do have traders kind of move back over and see if we can get some action to the upside. And VYNT had news today as well, guys. If I'm not mistaken, VYNT, they announced a strategic collaboration to discover therapeutics to treat Parkinson's. So you do have news there on VYNT. And VYNT is getting a nice little pop here, isn't it? So if you're watching VYNT, you just broke back above that 183-ish level. You had a little bit of resistance at 183, some support, resistance, and you see some resistance right around 183. So what I would say is you're definitely wanting to pull back a little bit, 183. But as long as you hold above 183 on VYNT, you have potential to 2. And then you can see it back up towards around that pre-market high of 209. And 209 is going to be that level, right? 209 is resistance. That's a very tough level of resistance. It's the 200-day moving average on the daily chart, right around 211. So again, you have room to 209 to 211, but that's a very strong level of resistance. If you guys are in this, that's where I'd be looking to lock in a good chunk of profits. Now, if it ever breaks above that level and it continues to show strength, let's go. But right now, I'm not touching it. Support's down at 183. If it sets back up, it sets back up, and we have some opportunity. But right now, I'm definitely watching DRCT and ADGI. So run yourself a nice little downtrend here on ADGI. And if we set up for a nice break of this downtrend, we have potential back up to 575 and then potential back up towards around 616 on ADGI. Your target on DATS, 320 to 322. MRIN needs to break that 313 before you guys get involved. And like I said, I would only expect to see NEGG rip if AMC and GameStop were to rip. So ADGI has that resistance at 573. That's right at the open as well. But if that breaks over 573, you could see it back up towards around 615. So right now, my top stock that I'm watching, ADGI here. Because DRCT is moving on lower. Exactly what I wanted to see there, guys. Keep on coming down. Find support, set up. Let's get some trades going. But right now, ADGI is the one stock that I'm watching here for a break over the open. We could definitely see it spike on up towards around 615. I know we have the VWAP here at 590. That's going to be a level that you're thinking about locking in profits if it can't break above. But if we can, we do have that potential to 615. Again, nice little break of the downtrend here, right into that 573 level. How low is DRCT falling right now? If this one continues to dump on down to that 434, I'm thinking about a dip buy on DRCT. Halt level right now is, where's the halt level? 389, so you got plenty of time. If this just dumps it even more, right? If this dumps down to that 340, I'm sorry, that 434, actually bring it up a little bit and say maybe right around 436. I think that's a good little dip buy level. I mean, obviously 450, but it's coming a little slow into that 450 level. So we'll watch this for a 436 dip buy. But right now, I want to see if we can get a setup on ADGI. So ADGI. So not only do we have a break of this downtrend, but we also have an inverse head and shoulders formation starting to form here on ADGI, right? So we have this low. We have our lower low. And if we start to find a higher low forming, that is a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, right? So if this right shoulder forms off the same low as the left shoulder, you have a neckline. Your neckline would be 573, right? You want to see that higher low form. You want to see some volume start to move back in. You want to see a nice break of that neckline, and you could see this grind all the way up towards around that 615 on ADGI. So right now we have the initial break of the downtrend. If we come back down and retest that downtrend, which we kind of are, and we form this higher low, be expecting a break over that 573 mark for the inverse head and shoulders formation. We have room to 596 and then 615. So that prior low was 544. So if we do come down and find a bottom and we don't drop below 544, that's where we can get involved for that next leg on up for the inverse head and shoulders breakout. But if we hold the 9 EMA here, this could be a nice little momentum trade for a break sooner than later. I'd like to see 544 hit, but if we start to U-shape here and curl on up for the break, that would be a decent little entry for the potential inverse head and shoulders formation. So we got to start breaking relatively soon here to break that 573 mark. Breaking that 573, this thing could take on off. Stops need to be below 560. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of profit there for the quick pop. 568 is the cost basis. I'm holding 2,500 shares as a runner. So I'm going to hold about 2,500 shares as a runner to VWAP. I want to see how much higher this thing could go. Nice volume. It's trying to break. We don't want to see it fall back below that 570. I'm in at 568. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit more because it's not breaking on out, and it could be a false break. I'm out for a small $100, right? Got in right for the break. It didn't follow through, right? So the fact that it wasn't explosive, it didn't follow through and just start ripping, I went ahead and just took the profit that I had versus getting stopped out because, again, I was large size. That's how I trade with large size. I get in right when I think the move's going to happen. I'm in, right? Stops are nice and tight. If the move doesn't happen, I get out. I'm playing into the move. We get the move. I trim some profits right off the bat. If it doesn't continue, I'm out, I'm out, I'm out. But I'm putting myself in a position to take a quick scalp and then ride the other half of my position for that immediate move. The fact that we fell back down below 573, and that should have been the breakout point, I went ahead and got out to avoid a possible dump on off. So I'm currently out, but if you guys are in with more realistic size, maybe you're trading 100 shares, 500 shares, not 5,000 shares, and you can afford to give it some breathing room, right? Where is your stop loss at? Your stop is underneath the left shoulder. So the left shoulder, or I'm sorry, the right shoulder. The right shoulder off this inverse head and shoulders was 550. So that's your stop, right underneath that lower shadow. Where's your target? 615. But again, you're losing volume and you just had 2 false attempts to break. That's not a good sign, is it? That's not a good sign in my opinion. Decreasing volume and 2 false attempts to break resistance off this reversal formation, that's not a sign of strength at all. Could it still rip and run? Absolutely. Why could it rip and run? Because I'm out of the trade, right? Because I'm out of the trade. But again, if it sets back up, I'll take it again, but I just took a quick $100 on it. You guys are in, stops are right under that 550. You got a 615 target. Nice little, little inverse head and shoulders formation there on ADGI. So again, you got the initial break of the downtrend. Maybe you took it there, or maybe you were taking it for this reversal. Either way, you guys are making money. You guys are up. Let's see if we can get NEGG some action here, guys. I'm in this one for the mid candle. As you guys know, I'm in IGMS as well because I like the news. I mean, I like the news. I like how heavily shorted the stock was. I mean, it was a relatively decent close yesterday. I mean, this stock just absolutely ripped, and there's still a lot of hype around IGMS. So I do have a position on IGMS, and my cost basis is $27.35. So I'm in way down here at this green arrow. That green arrow, that's my cost basis right now on IGMS. I want to see a nice break over 30, get some action up towards around 32.97. So right now, IGMS is trying to break 30 here, and we do have some pretty decent volume, right? About 200,000 shares on this candle, trying to push this stock above 30 bucks. Next target would be 32.97, and then 35.90, which was yesterday's high on IGMS. I'm still riding this one for the gap fill. That was my plan when I took the trade, was the gap fill. So I do have a target on IGMS of around $45. NEGG, I have a target of 844 off the potential mid-candle breakout. So I'm right at break even on NEGG, but we have about $2 a share in profit on IGMS. So I know that 9 EMA VWAP squeezes are not as powerful, right, on 1 minute time frames, but you can see them play on out on 1 minute time frames. When you see a 9 EMA VWAP squeeze, you ideally want to see that squeeze formation form on a 5 minute time frame, right? And I guess it's still kind of forming that on a 5 minute, so you do have that intact, but you can see it a little bit more clearly on this 1 minute time frame. So you may have a 9 EMA VWAP squeeze formation. As long as we do not crack below the 9 EMA, you're still good to hold this trade. Your stop loss is if we close below the 9 EMA, because if we close below the 9 EMA, you'll probably see it come back down the low a day. But if we hold this 9 EMA, we could see the 9 EMA VWAP squeeze play on out for that nice quick pop up towards around $6.15 here on ADGI. So we want to keep ADGI on watch for that potential 9 EMA VWAP squeeze. We do have potential to 515. Over 515, we could see it back up towards around $6.45 and then $7 on ADGI. But again, right now, where are you finding support at? You're finding support right at 567. So I would say below 560, I would definitely consider getting out. That's just me though. That would be my plan. Again, my plans are based around larger position sizing. But I'm liking the potential. If this doesn't dump on off below 567, it has great potential here on ADGI. If it doesn't dump on off below that 567. And as long as we hold that 9 EMA and we follow through with a nice little break of the VWAP, that is a confirmed 9 EMA VWAP squeeze. And we could really start to see this thing take on off, guys. Again, 615 is a great little target here on ADGI. Over that 615, 640, and then possibly back up to $7 if this is the stock that really steals the focus and the volume today. Does it matter if the VWAP is above or below? It does matter. Yeah, so if you're looking for a bullish squeeze, right, you want the 9 EMA to be support, right, and the VWAP to be resistance. For a 9 EMA VWAP squeeze to the long side, you want the 9 EMA to be a support and the VWAP as resistance. If you see it the other way around, right, the 9 EMA is over the top of the VWAP, right? So the 9 EMA would be resistance and the VWAP would be support. That is a bearish 9 EMA VWAP squeeze. So we can see these 9 EMA VWAP squeezes to the long side, like what we kind of saw there on ADGI starting to play out, right? But again, they're not as powerful on 1 minute time frames, right? They're very powerful on the 5 minute. But if you see the 9 EMA holding the stock down as resistance and that VWAP as support, same formation, just inverted, that's going to be a short. So ISIG's not dumping on off, which is a good sign. You know, we're actually holding on up. We have some strength. 1487 is a realistic target on ISIG. I would say, yeah, we start breaking over this 1279 level. I would say 1487 is a very realistic target, but you do have a good amount of resistance right here at 1279. So if we cannot break 1279 and 13, probably start the dump on off, but breaking that level of resistance, a realistic target is 1487 on ISIG. Did it rip? Hey, I didn't even see any GG pop. Okay, we're up pretty good on that. All right, should I go ahead and lock in profits? I forgot I was in any GG. Hey, we hit target too, guys. We hit first target, 769. I'm gonna hold it until we get 844. If we get 844, I'm still gonna hold it. I got breathing room. I'm in at 708. Is my no, 706 is my cost basis. So I have literally 60 cents of breathing room. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna see if we get up to 844. So I completely forgot about NEGG off the mid candle. So Catherine said NEGG, whoop whoop, there's my day, and I'm still holding it right now on NEGG. I forgot we're still live on YouTube, so we're gonna have to go ahead and shut it down, guys. Again, I always forget right at that 9:45 because there's usually a lot of action. But again, we do stream from 9 until about 9:45. Every now and then, you guys are very fortunate that I forget until 10 o'clock. So we are going to go ahead and shut down the stream. We were live all day yesterday. But again, if you guys do want to join, now's the time. All right, if you want to trade with us all day, every day, not just for the first 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and keep locking in profits. And again, we stream in the afternoons as well. Go to alphadaytrading.com, join the team. We'll see you guys inside of chat. And let's make it happen, guys. But congratulations to those of you locking in some good profits there. If you guys took the NEGG for the mid-candle breakout, and if you guys took that for a quick little scalp on ADGI, right? We were looking for that inverse head and shoulders, and the first level that we wanted to lock in some profits was the VWAP. So you would have locked in profits, stop at break even, you would have got stopped out, but it would have been profitable, right? We didn't really have any trade on DRCT. I said, don't chase it, don't buy it. Good thing you didn't chase it. Good thing you didn't buy it, because look at that. Nasty, right? That's really all we've had today, guys. We had NEGG, beautiful mid-candle breakout, right? You guys made about 70 cents a share there if you took profit up at that 769. I forgot about it. And then we had ADGI, not a bad little base hit. There was probably another one out there too, but I don't remember. So he said he forget. I forget a lot. I forgets a lot. I do forget quite a bit. But have a good day, traders. Trade smart, trade safe. If you have any questions, you can email me, josh@alphadaytrading.com. Until next time, take care. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning, right at 9 a.m. All right, team. So I'm still long IGMS, and I plan on swing trading this until the end of the week, unless we hit target today, or unless I add or get stopped out. Again, anything could happen, but right now at this point in time, I'm still planning on holding IGMS for a little bit longer, and it may bleed into a swing trade. And I am still holding some NEGG here, as I do see potential to 844. Now, if NEGG ever were to break 844, I mean, that thing could technically hit 10 bucks. Technically. Not saying it's going to, but I'm saying it could. And it had a pretty nice day there on Monday, set up for a really nice mid-candle breakout, and we just put in a new high a day. So I'm still okay with riding NEGG. It's one of those hype stocks. When it moves, it moves. When it has hype and momentum, it has hype and momentum. Right? When it dumps, it dumps. But I have so much breathing room to where best case scenario, I get stopped out at break even and I just walk away from it. But better case scenario is we break this 844 and we go to 10 and I make $3 a share on a mid-candle breakout, because this is just one of those stocks that when it rips, right? Right now, we just hit a high at 807. I mean, at this pace, we may get halted on NEGG, guys. I'm still holding at 706. That's an 8 million in float, 96% of the shares outstanding held by insiders, and there's not a high short percentage or anything like that. Share short is 1 million, but that was back in February. So nothing crazy there, but again, it's worth, you know, being mindful of, looking at all the thicks. So yeah, I'm still holding, right? Because I see the potential. We have nice little breaks over these levels, consistently hitting some new highs a day. Every time it pops, we have good volume. When it pulls back, decreased volume. So overall, I mean, the volume still looks to be good and intact. I know we're very overbought right now. We're at an 80 on the RSI, but I still see the potential. It's just one of those hype stocks that when it moves, it moves. When it dumps, it dumps. If it's going to continue to look decent and continue to grind to the upside, again, I have an 844 to an 875 target, and then potentially 10 bucks. And right now I'm willing to just work with it a little bit and see if I can't just allow it to breathe a little bit and see how high it could possibly go.